Hi, everyone. We're thrilled to share some exciting news with you. Even Detroit Spring has been awarded the 2024 Manufacturer of the Year by the NSRA. Here's a look at the moment we received this incredible honor. Enjoy.
Alrighty. Each year, the NSRA recognizes the Manufacturer of the Year from the hundreds of companies that have supported this industry or hobby that we all love so much. For over 50 years, large companies and many mom and pop shops have received this honor because they've all lent something of importance to the rotting experience. This year's award carries even more weight when you consider 4 generations of the same family have run this business for 87 years. In 1937, Frank Eaton, who was at the time an employee of Detroit Steel Products, an OEM supplier to Ford Motor Company and the largest spring supplier in the aftermarket, founded the company we are honoring tonight. When Ford required them to sell off their aftermarket division in 1937 in order to remain an OEM supplier, Frank bought the aftermarket division he had been managing for $11,000. He inherited all the employees and continued to run his business out of Detroit Steel's factory for 2 years, but in 1939 their lease was not renewed, so Frank and his wife Grace, who handled the bookkeeping, moved into a 14,000 square foot building next to Tiger Stadium on Michigan and Trumbull Streets in Detroit. His new landlord was Walter Briggs Sr., who also happened to own the Detroit Tigers. And after several failed attempts to park in Frank's new shop during the games, Mr. Briggs commented, "Anybody who's got the guts to stand up to me ought to own this building." So he sold it to Frank in the late 40s, and the company still resides in the same location. In the 50s, the second generation got involved in the business when Frank's son Robert and his sister and her husband Walt Matthews joined the company. Frank and Grace retired in the late 60s, along with Robert, who was having health issues. So Walt ran the company until he passed away in 1997. But still struggling with health issues, Robert came back and began grooming his son Mike to run the business, and in 1979 he took over the reins. During this time, the company was focused on heavy-duty truck markets, supplying and repairing springs for large trucks. In the early 80s, air ride suspension came on strong with the heavy trucks, slowing business. But by 1995, the light-duty spring market was so big they phased out of the heavy-duty business entirely. Because of Frank's early relationship with auto manufacturers, he received blueprints for every new spring they made, resulting in 24,000 spring blueprints dating back to 1893. In 1997, Mike and his wife Sandy attended the Street Rod Nationals East, and they returned home excited and recharged after discovering the incredible size of the street rod market. By the end of the year, they were taking orders for custom-fit springs for street rods. By answering a few basic questions about your vehicle, whether it's a restoration or a modified street car with either leaf or coil springs, the Eaton family has you covered. Mike credits his grandfather for saving all those blueprints that today allow them to make high-quality reproduction springs for around 166,000 different vehicles worldwide, or custom build them any way the customer wants. So the NSRA is proud to acknowledge Mike and Sandy Eaton, along with daughter Kim, for their drive and business ethics that make Eaton Detroit Spring the NSRA 2024 Manufacturer of the Year. You know, a funny thing happened to me. On my computer, I get a notice on my email that I got a Facebook posting. I don't know how to shut it off or nothing, so I just ignore it. But since I've been here, I got 4 notices about Sandy Eaton. Now, I don't know if it's the same Sandy, so we'll let her answer. Was your birthday Wednesday?
Happy birthday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't know what I got wrong in there, but
Thank you. I'll guarantee you when my grandfather started this business in 1937, 87 years ago, He had no idea it would still be around today. He certainly had no idea that his great-granddaughter would be pretty much running it today. And he sure the heck had no idea that we'd still be making springs for the vehicles that he started making springs for. But none of this would be possible if it wasn't for the support of my dear wife of 55 years, Sandy. So,
Oh, now you're telling how old we are.
she had to lower her standards to marry me, so it's good. Thank you very much.